Hey, this is Josh from CollectionDX here with a review of the 1000Toys Hellboy 1/12 scale action figure. This particular version is the regular version. The Dark Horse pre-order version is the same figure, but it also comes with the large horns and a sword. Other than that, I believe that's the only difference between the two editions. This toy was provided for review by 1000Toys. Thank you very much for that. So let's get into the toy and check it out. So yeah, this is the box. It's got a nice, some shiny bits to it, which is pretty cool. And I would say it's an original Mike Mignola illustration on one side, and then a photograph of the figure on the other side. Off the cover, and there's some credits. Oh, I had it backwards. And then the figure would be in there. But it's pretty cool. It's a nice presentation. So the figure is about 7.5 inches tall. Has a cloth jacket. The rest of it's plastic, except for the chest, and it's rubber. We'll get into that. There are some accessories. Gun. We have 3 variant hands and a variant head. This is actually the head that is default. I've already swapped it out. You can just pry off the little horn nubs and replace them on the other head, so it's the same nubs, you just swap it between 2 heads. There is a lot of nice detail here on the figure. The cross is a real dangly cross. The holster just sort of pops into a hole, and you can see the nice horseshoe detailing, and there's detailing like this all over the belt. Articulation is really good. Okay, I wasn't going to take the jacket off because I didn't think the arm came off easily, but it does, and it gives us a better look at the articulation in the figure. Let's start with the arms. You know, you can see that they're kind of rubber sheaths over different pieces. So, but arms move up and down. It's like a interesting sort of dual joint here that allows you to do a lot with it. You have double jointed elbows, and then you have your wrist. I wanted to show you the whole chest thing. So as you can see, it's rubber. It's a rubber over a skeleton. You can hear the joint click, but you can do a lot with it. I kind of don't like that at a certain range you can see inside, but who's going to go that range? A nice thing that is here that you don't really even see, there's a big clicky joint in the neck too, several points of. So there's a lot going on. There's sort of a mid-torso, there's at the actual waist. So in theory, I mean, it looks stupid, but there's a good range of motion, and you're really never going to use that range, but it's really cool. Head has a ball joint, and it just pops off with a pop. Pretty easy. Pops back on. Other arm has the same, obviously the same shoulder articulation. Listen to that noise. It's like a sound that's going to make like a leather fetishist get excited. So different elbow joint here, of course, but you can see we have this sort of collapsing joint in there, so we can get a full, but the nature of it is it can get really weird too. So you just gotta sort of pay attention to your posing to see what you can do. The fist rotates, and each finger is articulated, but also the fingers can come out, so you have a good more range there. And same thing with this one. It's actually on a dual joint, so you can bring it in. You could get really, I mean, you can do a lot with it. I just don't know why you would want to, but I guess it's nice to have the opportunity to have a really cool hand. Moving down to the hips is, you know, again, you have kind of a thicker ball joint in there. Really good range of motion. You have a swivel right at the end of the shorts there, so I guess it's a thigh swivel. You have double jointed knees. You have a swivel here which is actually, there's a piece underneath it, so it's not the whole piece that swivels. As you can see, it's just the sheath. And then you have your hoofed cloven feet that are on a great little joint that can get a lot of motion. So articulation, pretty killer. There's a lot going on here, and it's all very durable feeling. The tail, you have to assemble the tail. It just pops on a ball joint on the back. It's not articulated, so it doesn't, you can't sort of bend it into a shape where it's going to stay. But it acts as a nice tripod. So when you're doing kind of a more aggressive pose, you can sort of rely on the tail to give it that third point of posing there. The hands. So the hands are kind of tight, as you can see. I do have a bit of a, I mean, it's just me. Maybe if I heated these up, it'd be a little better, but you really have to use a fair amount of force. It probably doesn't help that it's cold as shit in here. There we go. It'll go eventually. So this is the gun holding hand, and it does what it should do. It holds the gun. And the other two are just variations on the grabbing hand and the sort of outstretched hand. The gun can go into the holster, but even though there's straps here, the holster actually splits at the top, so it goes in there. And you can just sort of pop it onto the belt if you want to. But as much as, I mean, this is cool, but I like it better with the coat. This is just a nice exercise to be able to see what's going on with the body. I will tell you though that I am super happy with this figure. It's a high-end figure done right. The sculpting is impeccable. The detail is amazing. The paint, from the subtle washes in the glove to the sort of chiseled, almost all stone-like features of the body. Everything looks great, just like it would jumped off of Mike Mignola's comic strip. And that's worth noting because this is based on the comic version of Hellboy, not any of the theatrical versions of Hellboy. So something to consider if you're a Hellboy fan. Some people are movie fans, some people are comic fans, some people are both. So I really, as is, this figure's quite phenomenal and really, really attractive. But I will say this: my many years of toy collecting have taught me that generally rubber on an action figure can be a bad choice. Depending on what kind of rubber is used, it will degrade over time. It could get greasy, it could dry out and crack, it can outgas, so if you have it stored against another plastic, it could melt. We may be in an age where that is not much of an issue, but I get a little paranoid about the long-term lasting effects of something that uses rubber in such a crucial part of the figure, being the entire outer layment of the body and the arm coverings. Maybe they got it figured out. Only time will tell. It's just something to keep an eye on. So say you buy one of these and you just put it away because you're that kind of collector. Check in on it every couple of years and see how the rubber's doing. There are a lot of toys from the 70s and 80s that used rubber and it has dried out. Now I know that's 30 years ago. You said, what concern is it of yours now? But a lot of action figures, if you're just starting out in collecting, you might still have these figures in 30 years. They're definitely still going to be on the market in 30 years as collectibles be traded. And, you want them to stand up over time. So we'll just have to see. Time will tell. Overall, this is another fantastic figure from 1000 Toys. Again, this is the regular edition, not the Dark Horse edition. Dark Horse edition does come with an extra sword and replaceable horns. But you would have had to have pre-ordered that to get that edition, and they're not making any more after that pre-order. So once again, this is Josh from CollectionDX.com. Thanks for hanging out. I know it's been a while. We'll stop by and say hello when we can. Thanks again to 1000 Toys for the sample. We'll see you next time. Bye.